Every saint has a past, and every sinner has a future. We are people of vision. We see beyond today. We see beyond this year. And I want to challenge you today. If you are stuck in some kind of a situations, be a person of vision. See beyond your situation. See beyond your mess. See beyond your past. See beyond your mistakes. See beyond 20, 15, or 2, or maybe 3 years of wasted. See beyond that. You are in the place where we're not going to judge you based on your past, but we're going to challenge you based on your future.
And many people go through life never getting in touch with their greatness because of the lack of motivation to push themselves, or because they have not found something that they believe to be worthwhile to challenge them. That many a talented persons have gone unnoticed, and the world never had a chance to be exposed to their talent because that person did not take the time to begin to express or to demonstrate or to motivate themselves in the direction to bring that which they came into the universe to bring. Many people will leave the universe without a trace. No one will know they were here. And in fact, under their name, we could put under there, not used up. Will anybody know that you came this way? What contribution are you giving? What will you leave? What will be different because you came this way? That life is our gift to us, that God has given us, and how we live our lives is our gift to God. What kind of gift are you formulating? Is this a gift that you like to take back and do something else before you turn it in? Think about that. What can we do? What are some of the keys that we can begin to use to motivate ourselves when our batteries run low? Because I don't care who you are, I don't care what you do, at some time you are going to get tired. At some time you're going to get in a rut. Seem like nothing you do works out right. And sometimes it just seems like you just don't have the wherewithal or the will to do anything. That sometimes you act like you're punch drunk. You're just wading through life, just doing time day in and day out, looking at non-discriminatory television, anything that's on, just looking. And depressed, feeling powerless, feeling useless, and bored. What do? How do you get yourself out of a rut? How do you, when you know you can do more than what you've been doing and you're not doing it and you're discontent with where you are, you get angry at yourself. How do you get out of that rut? How do you motivate yourself? One of the things that we must do is that we must be involved in working on achieving self-mastery. You must work on yourself continuously. Never be satisfied with yourself. Always know that as you invest the effort and time on you, that's the greatest ability that human beings have above animals. See, a dog can't be anything but a dog. Tree can't be anything but a tree. Human being, you've got unlimited potential. You can put effort on you, and by concentrating on you and developing you, you can transform your life wherever you are right now.
One day when I was in college, I went to a particular place to study. And when I was going, I saw this group of about 4 guys arguing. I think they were arguing about football. I passed them by and spent about 1.5 hours where I went to study. I really enjoyed my studies as I learned new things I never knew before. However, while coming back, I met the same guys at the exact spot where I left them. It was still an argument about politics and soccer. Then it occurred to me that the same time certain people spend to make progress is the exact time some other people waste on little or useless things. If you're new here, consider subscribing so you won't miss other interesting videos like this. Now here's the thing, and I think one of the most valuable advice Prophet ever gave is keep control of your time, and you can't unless you say no. It's unfortunate but true. Most of us own our lives, but we are not in control. Other people come into our lives with their agenda and they bribe us to give up our own time for their own purposes. Some other times, our inability to say no makes us to sit down and joyfully waste time. Time and life. I consider myself very fortunate in life, and the reason why I think I'm fortunate is because very early in my life, I discovered that there's a very close relationship between time and life. When I was 12, I loved the TV, the soccer, and anything of such nature. However, when I was around 14, I read a book that made me hate the TV and most things that come with it. So I stopped watching TV, tried as much as I can to never waste time with other people's life and to say no to as many things as possible. Now here's the thing, time is life and life is time. They both are inseparable. Bruce Lee said, if you love life, don't waste time, for time is what life is made up of. Remember my first story earlier in this video, how I went to learn while some guys of my age spent the same time arguing the life of others. This happens every minute of the day. The very same time some people waste doing little things is the same time others use to learn or do things that matter. Keep control of your time, and you can't unless you say no.
Some people are not productive because they have an open door. They have the opportunity to decide whether or not to invest or waste their time. So it's super easy to enjoy the moment by wasting some time. Know where your time goes. I have an application on my phone that reports to me every Monday the number of hours I spent with my phone last week. When I first started getting this report, I wanted to disbelieve it because I couldn't believe that I was spending such hours on my phone every week. But since the guy who is inside the app doesn't know me in person, he's probably just telling me the ugly truth. So I sat down to think about it. If I am spending this amount of time on my phone every week, what am I doing? Yes, I use my phone a whole lot to track what is going on with my business, but that cannot be the entire story. Then I discovered that I spent too much time watching the news. I also wasted time on a few things. Knowing where my time goes and how much hours go into such an area makes me more conscious about how I use my time. And I think this is the first thing you can do to stop wasting your precious time. I think there are a couple of mobile applications out there that can help you to track how many hours you spend on your phone. Since the phone is the biggest part of our day, this might be the best place to start.
Now you cannot choose your life, but you can lose your life to Christ. But you can make the same decision as Jesus has made. You may not be able to choose it. You may be born a different place, maybe to parents that you don't know, but you have the right and the choice and the privilege to do what Jesus did. Lay it down so other people can find Jesus Christ. Can somebody say amen? Because of that, Jesus paid this heavy price. Jesus did not pay this price to make your life better on earth, even though that was His desire. He paid a heavy price because He knew of something. He didn't come down of heaven just to give you a religion, something to do on Sunday. He didn't come into this earth and put on the makeup of men and literally become like an ant, for the better analogy, for no use of better analogy. He didn't do all of that stuff just because to give us goosebumps when we lift our hands and sing our favorite song. He did something else. See, Jesus knew that the next day, meaning there is heaven and hell, and that we are headed in the wrong direction. It's amazing that Jesus mentioned the word hell 33 times on this earth. It's about 11 times per year, about once a month. He mentioned hell more than probably any other person in the Bible. You would think Jesus, who loves the children, Jesus who told when somebody hits you on the right cheek, give them the left cheek. Jesus who said love your enemies, don't judge people, and He talked more about hell than any other person. Why? Because the reason why He became a man was because men were going there. Jesus knew how horrible hell was. Nobody knows how bad hell is better than Jesus. The reason why? Because He made it. He created it. He fashioned it. He planned it. Except not for us. When the planning was made to make lake of fire, there was only one enemy. It was Satan and his followers. The problem is when Satan came on this earth, He gained more followers than the fallen angels. We became His followers through our sin. Every time we chose sin, we started to follow blindly after Satan, not knowing where he is headed. And don't let the music from the Hollywood fool you that we will rock and roll in hell. People who are singing about that have never been there and have no idea what they're talking about. Because Jesus said He created it, and what He told us, there is no rock and roll there. There is worms that don't die. There is fire that doesn't get quenched. Jesus says it's like a bottomless pit. And He said it's a very, very bad, so bad that He says, I am willing to abandon heaven, come down and become like you, knowing not all of you will listen to me, knowing not all of you will respond, but if I could just get few people off of the track and say, guys, tomorrow you all gonna be terminated, come this way. If I could succeed that, this will be worth it.
A few people have disagreed with Gladwell's theory of 10,000 hours, and that's fine. It may not be 10,000 hours, it may be 7,000 hours or even 5,000 hours. What we can all agree on is that it does take a whole lot of time to achieve anything worthwhile. The problem about this is that if you waste time on little or useless things, you've got no 10,000 hours to invest into your music, athletic or entrepreneurial dreams. Robert Greene wrote a book called Mastery. In this book, Mr. Robert told the stories of great people in history and how they became so great. None of these people achieved meaningful success with a half-hearted commitment. Instead, people who achieved meaningful success in life say no to almost everything and concentrate all their life on a few things that matter. Your time is your life. You have to master how to convert the time you have to whatever other things you want out of life. You have to learn how to say no. No to most TV shows. No to unnecessary argument. No to many hours on social media. No to little talk and small dreams. No, no, no. Keep control of your time, and you can't unless you say no. The search for pleasure. Over the years, I've heard people saying all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Now that Jack wants to play, an average American now spends 11 hours each day consuming different media. And according to a study I read from Brian Tracy, an average salesperson only has 90 minutes of productive activities per working day. You think about that. Because all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, we now play all day, wasting 11 hours and investing just 3. The reason is because we are in search of pleasure. And the reason why Jack needs 11 hours to consume media is because Jack don't have interesting jobs. If you don't want to be like those Jacks who waste half a day on little things, try and do what you care about. People who love their jobs don't need 11 hours of media consumption. They have a job that is fun, so they don't need much of extra entertainment.
I love to refer to Earl Nightingale's quote, which goes something like, if you invest 1 hour of your day to study a field, you'll become a national expert in 5 years. In other words, the difference between the people who become successful in their field and others might be the difference between the person who spends 1 hour to study and the person who spends 1 hour on social media. I think it was Mark Twain who said, time is what life is made up of. Time is the most important asset in life. Time is the only thing you cannot regain when lost. If you understand that your life is nothing but the addition of some seconds and minutes, you'll be more careful the way you waste those seconds. Know your top 3 priorities. I think it was this morning or yesterday that I asked myself the most frequent personal question, what is the most important task in my company? This is the question I have asked myself again and again. And the question is very simple. I want to do what is important with my time, and I have to know my top priorities, because if I don't know the top 3 most important things for me, I will just wake up each day to look for whatever is available to do. You don't have to run a company to use this formula. Simply ask yourself, what are the 3 most important things I need to achieve this year, this month, or today? Knowing the 3 most important things for you to achieve will clear your mind of so many other good things that seem to be worthwhile. You don't want to spend your time doing what is good or reasonable. You want to spend your time doing what is important to your bottom line, whatever that means to you. Life is time, and for anyone to get ahead in life, you have to be able to manage your time. Know what your top priorities are so that you'll spend your time doing what is truly important. Take care of your morning because it is the best time of the day. Know the importance of time so you'll be careful the way you waste it. Be accountable. Know where your time goes so you will be conscious of those channels. Waste one day of the week so that you can be creative and productive in other days. Learn to put your phone on silence when doing your most important task.
You want to be happy. You got a lot to be thankful for. But you watch some of the faces around you every day. And I tell you, some of these faces, they will put you in a depressed state of mind. So you want to avoid these kind of faces. When you see them coming, turn your head. The things that you say to yourself, you want to watch them, and in watching them, you want to take charge. So you've got to learn to stand up to yourself inside yourself and short circuit, override that conversation that's always going on. 85% of what that conversation will tell you is negative. It's negative. It will tell you you're tired when you really are not tired. It will tell you you can't do it. It will fill you with fear. So you've got to watch that conversation. And when you find it going on, you've got to stand up to it and say, I'm going to do this anyhow. I'm afraid, but I'm afraid not to do it. And I'm not going to let you stop me.